Welcome, future masters. So this guy lays this move on me and it becomes an obvious defensive position. I'm under check. Where can I go? King d4, king d3. How about king to e3 heading to f2? Smoking. Still going there. I'm going to checkmate this guy. So this was just basic defensive alignment of the position. You saw me. I nailed this in 9 seconds, and this video is basically already over in under a minute. So, I don't know. I guess that's it. Let's see what's going on. 1 minute is too quick. So, how about knight? Queen takes rook? No. Yeah, knight takes. Let's think of knight takes bishop. It doesn't work because rook takes queen is check. We can't just leave the queen there because rook takes queen is check. Maybe the move is queen to e6 to get out of that check. What are we up here? I feel like we're up material. We are not up material. It's an exchange down. What if we play queen takes? Don't have any good checks. I don't have any good checks. I was thinking about queen takes rook, but queen takes queen ends that business. Queen e6 still just comes back in my brain as the top move. Oh, look at that freak. He's threatening to play bishop to c5 check. What a loser. Oh, man. Queen e6, bishop c5 check, king f6, rook d6. No, got a bishop there. I guess that's okay. Boy, it's like you're walking the tightrope. Queen e6, bishop checks, king. Well, king could go to f7 too, but I don't want him bishop checking me. I'm thinking king to f6. Unfortunately, my bishop is there, threatening to take his bishop. This position is ugly. I hate these positions. But I am threatening, with queen e6, I am threatening rook takes bishop. Now here comes, oh. Well, no, you don't have a dark square check, buddy. I don't like this. He's got this bishop check, just seems annoying. I could be wrong. He also gets a rook move with my queen pinned. King to f6 looks like a good move. Again, I'm threatening rook takes bishop. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like bishop. I don't like bishop moving with check. So there you go. Now we just have. I have bishop takes bishop if I want to play it. Threatening bishop checks. Rook takes bishop. He could play queen. Rook takes. Bishop takes does nothing to me. Oh, actually it does. Hang on a second here. Rook takes bishop. Rook takes is he can't play queen takes, can he? No. So my bishop is there. So rook takes is forced. Bishop takes. What does that leave me? Leaves him with rook, bishop, and queen. It leaves me with 2 knights, a bishop, and a queen. So I got 2 knights for the rook. I'm threatening a check with the bishop. That doesn't really do much. So let's think about this before we do something stupid. Right now we're still exchange down, but we can win this bishop. Oh, I guess bishop takes bishop is the right move because I'm threatening bishop discovered check. Well, check with a discovered attack on his queen. So bishop takes bishop looks like the right move because he's got, well, no, he doesn't have queen takes e4. Bishop takes bishop threatens this nasty check. Rook takes does not. Let's go with the nasty threat. And that's the key, is that we retain the nasty discovered attack with check. So let's look at this again. This is very difficult. I hate these problems. You know my dad's rule. What's he trying to do to me? Well, I saw everything he was trying to do to me, which was awesome. You know, like I said, I can't leave the queen here with any kind of crazy tactic because rook takes queen check as a crusher. The queen needs to move, you know, and it starts off fairly high and it just gets higher and higher in my priorities. So queen e6, the correct move. We saw, and then, you know, I said, of course, bishop checks. If he plays bishop to d4 check, well, we can just knight chop. Or we could actually, if you want to get down to it, we could just go king to g6. We don't have to take it because the thing about queen e6 is it threatens to take this bishop. So bishop checking, you know, bishop checking on d4 isn't that great. We don't have to take it because that will let his queen sidestep the pin. We don't want to do that. He checks us. We would like to just maintain. We have threats. So we have a threat on his bishop. We have a 2 versus none attack on his bishop. Now that bishop can move, but then we have another one that's pinned and hammered and threatened to get hammered by a third attacker, which is the rook coming to c8. So we're maintaining threats. He took my rook. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Crunch. At this point, we have 2 knights for a rook and a threat. So we've given up a rook and we have 2 knights for it. And we've got a vicious threat coming. He does not have that check on the dark squares for his queen to escape this threat. And this bishop to e3 is going to be a real problem. Although technically he could play, oh, he can't play king. He can't play king to b1 because knight checks. King to d1 doesn't really help much because I get knight forks. This bishop takes move is awesome. So I hated this problem. 29-73. Yeah, it was pretty tough. I mean, rook takes bishop, check. You can't take knight takes because it's checkmate. So rook takes check. You can't go to f1 because it's a freebie. It's a freebie. Double check. Rook to e1. And I'm going to checkmate this guy so fast it'll make your head spin. So rook takes bishop, king to here. Rook check. You're screwed, dude. Oh my God, he did it. See, this is one of those things when you're like, he can't go there, and then he goes there. I'm sure I'm checkmating this guy so fast it'll make his head spin, not yours. But in tournament chess rewards accuracy. I'm sitting here not even thinking about this position. I'm just talking to you guys. Now let me think about this position. So let's look at this. We have all kinds of moves. Well, actually we don't. We have like rook to e1 check. Rook takes f2 check is no good because his knight guards e2. So we cannot play like rook checks and then king takes queen e2 because he would just take my queen and laugh at me because I'm an idiot. Now, I might be an idiot, sir, but there's one thing I'm not, and that's an idiot. Peter Griffin. So rook e1 check. Only one move, king g2. Now we can win his queen with bishop f1 check. Right? Bishop f1 check, king f3, queen e4, checkmate. I think it's fairly obvious. We check him, and then we checkmate him on e4. That's just me. I mean, what do I know? I knew that this guy was toast. I couldn't believe he went to f1 because, you know, yeah, I guess that's the whole trap, is that most people go, ooh, 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 ooh. King f3, bishop takes free queen. Well, it's not free, but, you know, it's just, this is absolutely winning. Bishop takes queen, knight takes bishop, rook takes rook. And what do we have? Rook and queen against knight, bishop, and rook. Yeah, you're winning, but just checkmate him. So this is a trap position. You know, they bait you with the queen, but we're way too smart for that. Nice try. Oh, man, now this guy's a jerk. He's trying to do the windmill to me. That's not very nice. That's not very nice. You're dead, dude. Look at this. Now, the thing is, the trap is, hey, queen check him. Knight to e5, blocking my check with a discovered check. No thanks, dude. But here's the move for you. Rook takes g2 check. I dare you. I dare you to go to king h1, because rook to g1 double check with guarded by the queen is going to be summary mate with queen to f2. So rook checks here. King to here on h3. Well, guess what? Hammer time. Can't touch this. Rook h2 check. Crunch. Hammer time. Okay, it is hammer time. And now what? I can win your queen. As my friend would say, I can win your queen out loud. With bishop to g4 check, that wins his queen. But we're greedy. We're greedy, and we're going to use our brain power to see, can we do better with rook takes h4 check? I don't think so, but it's free to look. So rook takes h4 check. He's got either king g5 or king to e5. And this looks really quickly that's not the right move. Bishop to g4 check looks like the absolute destroyer, because we're going to take this queen with check. When he goes king g5 or e5, queen takes queen check, and you're screwed. So, as you can see, this is a terrific sequence of events. We crushed 25-37, 29-73, a good problem, very intricate. Crushed 26-98 with a little cheap shot trying to make us take the queen. And then 28-68. I don't know, but I'm thinking if this is 1993 and I'm in the arcade with NBA Jam, he's on fire. What is this guy? What are you, high? Who's coming up with this? I don't know. My gut reaction, bishop takes e7, attacking his queen. Regardless of what he plays, I'm going to hit him with probably queen takes e4. I don't know. That seems reasonable. I could play knight takes e4, bishop takes, queen takes. That's a possibility as well. The thing we have to watch out for is when he plays bishop takes g5, he's clearancing his e-file to skewer my queen and king. Now, I mean, there are several pieces on this line, but I'm seeing this rook to e8 coming, all right? This is one of the things that separates the good from the very good, is that you got to see this stuff coming. Is if you don't, you're going to feel it when he hammers you. So it's a toughie. Let me think about it. Now, I have plenty of time to think in a tournament. Grandmaster tournaments are usually something in the neighborhood of 2 to 2.5 hours for 40 moves, which is a lot of time. Now, the regular tournaments we used to play would pretty commonly be somewhere in the neighborhood of like 90 minutes for 40 or 45 moves. Usually like 45 sounds about right. Because you have to play two, well, in the big tournaments, like we used to play at University of Houston, those were 5 rounds. So you'd show up Saturday morning to play 3 games. And sometimes those would last till 11 or 12 o'clock at night. Random. Usually it didn't, but sometimes there's one game that these guys are just, in the Masters section. They're playing, struggling to the very end. So it could last till midnight. Usually we were done in the 7 or 8 o'clock range. Because we usually start about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock doesn't sound right. 9 o'clock? I think it's 9 o'clock. Let's go with 9 o'clock. And usually I would say there's like 4 hours to the next round would be 9, 1, and then 5. Yeah, so you're done around 9 o'clock generally. That sounds right. 9, 1, and 5 sounds right. So, got to figure out the things we have to look for here. I'm taking longer than normal because, look, I had this 4-0 streak. Let's go for 5. The candidate move, number 1, bishop takes e7, attacking the queen, just forking the crud out of him. Now, his response to that is most likely going to be queen e8, so that bishop takes f8 is not possible because he'll take my queen. So bishop takes e7. If he just takes knight takes c3, bishop takes his queen, whatever, dude, you're screwed. So that ain't going to work. Well, I say that. Bishop e7, knight c3, bishop takes d8, rook takes d8, threatening to skewer my king and queen. I would just castle, so on that. So he cannot sit there. Bishop takes e7. Now he has no check as a direct result. So what does he do? Queen e8, I think, is the best move he has. At that point, there's no reason to goof around. Bishop to the potential move to play is really knight takes e4, because I would like to play bishop to f6 to extricate the bishop and guard the queen. Because, wait a second, now, yeah, we're a piece. I guess he captured a piece. I don't even pay attention sometimes. Yeah, he took my bishop. So he's, quote, a piece up. We're going to recapture our piece, but how we recapture it is going to be the key. How you recapture it sometimes makes you not lose a piece or a pawn, and sometimes it'll make you win a piece or a pawn. I think bishop takes bishop is the move we should play. Clearly, knight takes is inferior to bishop takes, knight takes, rook to e8. You're an idiot. Okay? So we don't want to play knight takes because we're asking for a beating. Bishop takes, and then we play queen takes, and then we have nothing. He's going to take this b pawn at some point. In my mind, it's bishop takes bishop. Oh, rook e8. Well, no, that move is stupid. Idiot. Bishop takes queen. Rook takes queen. Bishop to c7. I dare you. What are you thinking? Bishop takes queen. Rook takes my queen. This is Desperado time. But I get bishop c7, and I'm attacking the piece that checks my king. So knight takes c3 check is bishop takes rook, and I'm not checked anymore, and I'm going to take your knight. Well, he can move, because I'm on his rook. So it looks like bishop takes queen to me is the crusher. Whatever, dude. Yeah, I mean, this is sometimes you see it so clearly that you can't believe that this is the moves. Okay, literally, that's why I was perplexed because these moves are not difficult to find. I'm just going through my checks. And I don't mean check in the piece check. I mean my checklist in my brain of just what mistakes am I making? This is my father's rule. What's he trying to do to me? I thought queen to e8 is the better move. This is the greed move, which is, I'm like, dude, it's not going to work. I'm just going to take your pieces, man. Take your, I'm just going to take your queen. And I mean, how does he not see that these rooks end up here and I bishop fork them? Sometimes, in this position, I played this position like either Bobby Fischer or Garry Kasparov. And it's like, so I guess, but I'm not used to being either Gary or Bobby. Okay. And so it was just bizarre. Rook to e8 is stupid. It's obviously dumb. It's so dumb I didn't think a master would play that move. I'm just going to take your queen. I mean, these moves to me are just obvious, and you heard me tell you these moves. You're screwed at this point. Best he could do, literally the best move he could play at this position is not knight takes knight. It has to be rook to e8. You pick the rook, I don't care. I mean, I would say rook b to e8 so that kind of limit the damage. Bishop takes rook, rook takes here, knight takes it. You lost. You made a mistake. He went to a desperado. Okay, I should probably explain it for those of you who might see this without seeing other desperado videos. The desperado in chess is where you have a sequence of I take this piece, he takes this other piece. I take this thing or I move to make a threat, he does whatever. So this is the bishop, I take his queen, he takes my queen. This is a desperado by definition. I take a piece, he takes a piece. And so the desperado has the weakness usually for the second guy. He's the guy who's in danger in the desperado because the guy who's initiating the captures, which was myself, has the advantage of choosing to either enter this combination or not enter it. The second guy has no choice. He's stuck. So if he allows said desperado, he better have calculated in advance further than the other guy. Because what happens is this. Use your hands in front of your face where you can see them. So material is even. Well, no, I'm not talking about the pawns. The pieces are even. 2 minor pieces each. So he played rook to e8. So my move is if I take his queen on one hand, put a finger for that queen. I take his queen, he plays rook takes queen, another finger on the other hand. And then I said, well, I'm just going to play bishop to c7, which is a combo. This is the in-between move. That's not a capture. And the in-between move is what could threaten to destroy the desperado for the second player. Bishop to c7, best move on the board, because now I'm forking both rooks. He took my knight, give him a second finger for that. I took his rook on e5 that was checking me. I get a second finger on that. Now the problem is, if you'll notice, let's get to this position where it's two fingers on each hand. Watch this. Finger one, bishop c7, double exclamation, winning the game. This is the in-between move that crushes him. He gets a finger with check. I get a finger. 2 fingers on each hand. This is the position that I saw. In this position, black is dead lost because he's got a problem. Now, he could play rook to e8. But you'll notice he's an exchange down at this point. This is the best he can do is go rook to e8 and just go, you know what, I'm going to exchange down. He takes my knight on c3, meaning white. White takes the knight on c3 and rook takes, bishop check. and he's in exchange down, and the pawns are terrible, he might have a dream somehow. So this was the position that you should look at. When I saw this position in my brain, in my visualization, I know that this is a winning position for white. So this is the key. You have to be able to foresee that this position is winning for white no matter what black does. And that's why it has the green check mark. So this is the Desperado. He enters the Desperado opportunity with rook to e8. I don't like that move at all. And you see why. Because I see that the queen, bishop c7. Bishop c7 literally jumps out at me. And it's probably the way chess is for the grandmasters. The moves jump off the board going, bishop to c7, of course. So for this one moment, I have grandmaster vision that, of course, this is what it's like to have been Bobby Fischer or Gary Kasparov. It's like, oh man, that's terrible for those guys. So fantastic. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. That was tremendous 5-0 against really top problems. So I guess that's all. And you got a free Desperado lesson if you have never had it before. So that's under half an hour. Awesome. I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot.